Greetings, survivors and friends. Welcome to this week's Rust update. Well, sort of. I don't mean you're not welcome. Well, look, I'll tell you in a minute. First of all, I'd like to say thanks again to my sponsor for this month, Sennheiser, because in their enormous generosity, they're giving you a 10% discount off their GSP 500 and 600 headsets. If you use my link in the description and chant the magic code Shadowfrax at checkout, that is. If you want to see what the GSP 600 is all about, I did an unboxing and review of it on the channel yesterday and looked at how good the sound quality is for games like Rust. There's also a giveaway on that video, which you can still enter if you're quick, so please do check it out. Anyway, to the update, and well, it looks like it's that time of year again! And because of that, the team have really been winding down over the last week. Actually, it looks like they downed tools and started eating pies about Tuesday. They still managed to get a couple of things done though in between mouthfuls. Firstly, they very kindly fixed a rare bug which could cause HQM to sprout legs and disappear from your tool cupboards. Actually, it wasn't just affecting Highqual, but all materials, and because the story behind the bug was worthy of its own short epic, Andre posted a post-mortem about it on Reddit. I'll link that for you for some bedtime or toilet time reading. Apart from that, the final touches to the oil rig seem to have been done, and apparently we're expecting it to be floated on the 3rd of January with the first patch of 2019. There was a bit of extra work done for the new lighting in the military tunnels and the new water system, but then it all dried up for the year. So, because I'm the sort of chap who likes to give and wants to make sure you have some sort of meaty update each week, I thought as it's the end of the year, why not have a good look at the roadmap, see how they did, and just chew over what's left to do, eh? Okay, so first two things you'll notice about the roadmap page, and I'll link this for you too, is that A, it's had a 60-minute makeover along with the rest of the site, and B, all the dates are now wrong. I did mention this to the team in passing and they told me I'm not their real dad and I can't tell them what to do. I know that. I'm just trying to be helpful. Anyway, ignore those bits please, just don't look above this line. No. Don't look. No! Let's just concentrate on this bit, because as it used to say, but for some reason doesn't now, these were only intentions, not promises, and the only thing they could say with any certainty is that the information is all wrong. I'll just say that for them then. So the first section, to leave early access, is all done now of course. Rust bust its way out of that particular straitjacket in February, and since then it's been all downhill. I think they were a bit late with one or two of these still, but we had such things as the new blueprint and workbench system, dividing the islands up into tiered areas, the wonderful recoil and cone system that everyone loves, lots of work to fix item descriptions and to try to make Rust idiot-proof. Stop using P2P for voice, that was a welcome fix. Damage type simplification, AI improvements, upkeep for buildings, whoopee-doo, mountables such as chairs and sedans, smoluments and mini-games. So next is the time capsule known as Now, which was actually supposed to be finished by the end of June, and almost was, except what you have to realise here is that even though one or two things are still in roadmap limbo, some things that were supposed to be done in the future, which is more like now, were pulled forward. I think if you just imagine this was all shifted forward in time by a few months, it'll make a lot more sense. Anyway, we had the scientist outpost and the bandit camp, let's not forget those chaps, various boats and diving, the cargo ship, Radtown puzzles, which helped out with electricity, the team system, workbenches, player model improvements, which mean we're not quite as genetically bankrupt as we used to be. Well, some of us. New arrowheads, and of course the Chinook. What hasn't been done yet is item amounts. This means reducing the values of crafting and harvesting by about 1/10. So, for instance, something that takes 100 wood to craft, such as a building plan, would then take 10. But also, instead of, say, getting 10 wood each time you hit a tree with something, you'd get 1. Nothing really changes about the gameplay, but everything becomes less granular, if you want to use the Latin. Farming 3.0. Farming is a mess. That can happen, sadly. It's all the soil. It needs to be cleaned up, made more logical, and become an important core mechanic of the game. I do believe that even though farming will be more important, it will still very much be optional. And perhaps even a bit nerdy. But I guess in that sense it'll be like electricity. If you spend time on it, you'll get extra rewards, but it won't make you shoot any straighter. New spawn options. Players should be able to spawn near static monuments such as lighthouses for easier meetups, and there will even be a spawn barge circling the island that you can hop off of and swim to shore from. We've already seen pickies of this, so it's not far away. Lastly, there's a multiple island test, and I'm looking forward to this one, using boats to cross the ocean to other islands. To start with, these will be like monuments. I guess, within the same server, but eventually could involve server transitioning and be rolled out into the main game. There's a lot we don't know about exactly what'll be involved here and how it'll work, so best not to get too far ahead of ourselves. This is probably the most ambitious thing still to do from the now list, and I can understand why we're still waiting for it. Next is literally next. These were intended to be done by now, and some points have been. For instance, player movement's been uncoupled from the physics system, and we have parented offset movement, which means we can trundle around on things that are already moving, like the cargo ship. We just need server-side full physics now to prevent levitating sleepers and the like. Shame, I'll miss them. Vehicles-wise, we have hot air balloons and boats, and now we're just waiting on the land-based stuff. And of course, electricity, which technically should be crossed off this list in its basic form, but I know Hulk has a lot more planned, so what are we still waiting for? Well, online raiding balance, which means less useful honeycombing and more useful traps, plus CCTV for raid notifications, an auto-looter, which I don't know a lot about, but that will grab loot from dead players and salvage whatever's left over from a failed offline raid, weight limits and backpacks. I'm all for increased player storage. Now we have even more crap to collect, but I'm not a fan of encumbrance. I don't think I've ever been encumbered in any game and thought, wow, this is a smashing system, this totally makes sense and I'm really enjoying myself. I don't think it'd be good for Rust either, but hey, moving faster on roads is good though. Lore reveal. Well, what can I say about this one, apart from I've done most of the work already? We'll see about that. Ooh, RustNet, basically the internet in Rust. Place bounties on players, use remote CCTV, place job listings, send emails. Hey, we won't even have to leave our bases. We can just hack other players instead of using C4. I guess technically that would make all raids online once. Wipeless Rust. I'm really not sure about this one. I've thought about it a lot, and I just think Rust's one of those games where the actual world needs to be reset rather than just player progress, which is what's being suggested here. I don't know exactly what the plan is, though. I'm open to being proved wrong, and I know Helk has some genius ideas, so I'll wait and see on this one. And then we have weather. Wind, lightning, acid rain, randstorms, hurricanes, basically spicier weather instead of what we have now, which is no weather. So now we come to later, and this is actually later, which hasn't really changed much. Visible item looting. This means instead of finding everything in crates and barrels, you'll see items actually lying around on shelves and other places, a bit like the way Miscreated or DayZ does it. I mean, you can see this in a way with the keycards on desks. It'll be a bit like that. Craft times will be reduced and interactivity, i.e. mini-games, will be introduced to speed things up if you want. We'll be able to use survey charges to discover resources around the map and on cave walls. Water will become more important. We already have water wells, but food will generally become less juicy, and you'll be able to use water for quenching. That could mean putting out fires, which can already be done but may become more of an issue, or could mean when forging metal things. Or both. Bradley is almost fully functional, but this isn't even his final form. He's going to get weak spots, side miniguns, missile launchers, and he's going to be dancing around like a butterfly a lot more. Radios and telephones to allow for long-distance in-game voice comms and recorded messages, because there's no way that won't be abused. We have hair now, but the next logical step is to be able to trim it into styles or even grow a mighty bush and go full Robinson Crusoe. Perhaps even having your follicular fecundity say something about how long you've been on a server. Prototype weapons, allowing players to slap together their own shooty sticks. Sounds very Fallout. Surrendering, including frisking, swapping clothes, blindfolds, interrogation, and handcuffs. Not kinky at all. Not in the slightest, eh, Helk? Gestures. Yes, we need gestures. I think I know which ones we'll get. There seems to be a pattern for these in most multiplayer survivals. Mortars to fire projectiles, long range and out of line of sight. Yes, we've seen the concepts for those. The model's done, so this is low-hanging fruit. Food preservation. Finally, we get a use for fridges, although I bet we'll need electricity for them. But, of course, with the amount of salt we have flying around, we might not need them that much. Tier 2 cooking is still there, with stoves and recipes that give certain buffs. Notice how they just can't bring themselves to say the word pie. They dance around it with chicken dinners and stews. Yeah, fractional reloading! Item levels. I guess this is along the same lines as making your own shooty sticks. Actually, I've already used that phrase, haven't I? What else can I call them? Bang branches! Actually, no, that sounds wrong. Anyway, you could make items with higher levels, including armor too, and I hope we can give them names. I think having legendary player-made items on servers would be very cool. Finally, and this one snuck in right at the end like a little sneaky thing, railways! And that's all we know, one word. But as we are aware, it only takes one word to conjure up a whole world of thoughts. I'm guessing all those train tracks at monuments that go nowhere right now will eventually link up and hold hands. I'm just hoping whatever system we get isn't like the UK rail network, or walking will definitely be the better option. So, there we have it. A whole new year awaits us, and how much of this will we get in 2019? What else will be added that isn't on this list? And how much will players bitch when they get it? All these questions and more might be answered in my update vids next year, so make sure you subscribe to me to stay in the know. Actually, yes, they will be answered. Come and join me on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Discord, and my Steam group. Check out the Sennheiser link in the description for me, and I shall catch you all very soon. But in the meantime, keep calm and stay rusty. Cheerio!